Yes. Welcome back to another episode of This Is How You Website. I am your host, Chris Pearson. And what I want to talk about today is the mantra that should inform everything you do with your website. Every time you make a new page, this is what I want you to be thinking about, okay? Here we go. The concept is known as one page, one goal. And I'm going to take you through the what this means specifically. And I want to start. We're looking at the New York Times website here, and I want to illuminate for you this idea that almost everything you have seen and interacted with on the web is a poor model for your website. So New York Times website, big time popular site. Another one that we could look at here is drudgereport.com. These are not good examples of one page, one goal. They're examples of what I'm going to call aimless browsing. There's two types of browsing. There's aimless browsing and browsing with intent. On your website, it would be better, if you have any goals at all, if your visitors were browsing with intent and not just aimlessly going around your site. I'll get into that in a second, or in just a little bit. If you are selling something, if you are trying to get people on your email list, if you are trying to do things to increase your bottom line, be that making money, making your audience bigger, whatever, you're going to want to adopt the one page, one goal mantra. But like I said, you've got these examples of websites that you commonly see. You're constantly being reinforced with this idea of just putting a bunch of crap on a page and having users browse aimlessly. Okay, so like if we're on this New York Times site, we are looking for something that appeals to us. This is aimless browsing. If you have to sift through things, it's like looking at a Where's Waldo book. I'm sifting through here. I'm looking for something I want to click on. I am practicing aimless browsing right now. If I don't see anything that's of interest to me, I don't have any other compelling reason to be here, I'll probably leave. Same goes for a site like the Drudge Report. The way this is set up, there's a bunch of headlines. You're looking for anything that's appealing, news, I guess, that's appealing to you that you might want to click on. And if you don't see it or you finish what you've come to, aimlessly search for, then you're out of here. Okay, these are poor models for most websites on the internet. Unfortunately, the big sites, Drudge, New York Times, all, Pinterest, Instagram, even Twitter, what we are in, Facebook, the way feeds work and all that stuff all caters to aimless browsing. It is hopefully serving you something that you might be interested in and therefore will click on. But that, like I said, that's a poor model for success on your website. So let's juxtapose what I just showed you here with the new DIY Themes website, where I'm selling Focus. My primary mission is to communicate the various messages about Focus to my visitors and then to have them buy the product. Okay? And as part of that, trying to get them to browse with intent rather than to browse aimlessly, there's various things you're going to want to do. Number one, you want to minimize what's on the page. So one page, one goal is our mantra. Anything that doesn't serve the goal of that page, gotta go. Zero tolerance for things that do not serve your goals. So, for example, you see that there is no sidebar on this page. Everything is vertically oriented. It just drives you top down. You go right down through the page. You follow what I've showed you here. And then maybe you buy, or maybe you peace out because you're not ready to buy right now or whatever. Or maybe you explore more because I'm only giving you a few options for how you can explore more. You go in, you're reading, you're watching these videos, and maybe you end up on the pricing page. Again, you've got no options for doing anything except focusing on the one thing I want you to focus on, which is my product. Now, like I said, we're going back to this idea that you have been hit with example after example after example of the wrong way to do this the entire time you've browsed sites on the internet. What we are looking at now is the previous version of my personal website, which violates the one page, one goal principle. It violates that by having a bunch of articles here on the home page, So that's for aimless browsing. That doesn't look so good. Let's see what else. Oh, this looks a little more interesting. Maybe I'll browse this. That's aimless browsing. Everything over here in the sidebar, I used to just hope that you would see something of interest to you, and you maybe would click on this and go read something else that I wrote. That was effective at moving traffic around to pages that really don't benefit me in any special way. It's just, I guess, until you begin to start bottom lining everything that occurs on your website, you might feel good about the fact that these old posts got some traffic because somebody clicked on these links in the sidebar. But none of those activities help me to convey the specific messages that matter to me, and none of these things really help me earn any income off of the products I'm selling, because this is all set up for aimless browsing. And again, we want our users, our visitors, to browse our websites with intent, because that helps us align our goals with our visitors' goals and achieve whatever outcome we want. Aimless browsing, if you set up an environment where people can browse aimlessly, they will do so, and this will undermine whatever goals you have for your website. So let's look at another example here of some little things that promote aimless browsing that we might think are innocuous. So in WordPress, there's been this convention forever that your theme has at the bottom of a blog post these links to your next post and the previous post in the timeline, I guess, or the chronological order of your website. And chronological order has no meaning to a random visitor who just shows up on your site. Like, it doesn't matter about the next post and the previous post in this never-ending daisy chain of crap you've produced over the years. It really doesn't matter at all. These links down here just invite people to, well, I'll just click on this. I'm not clicking on this because I am actively seeking out new information on something you're selling. I'm not clicking on this because I'm looking to be convinced for a reason to join your email list. I'm just browsing aimlessly, hoping I find something that's of interest to me until I decide I'm ready to go do something else, and I click the X and I leave your site. So again, the point of this video is to alert you to this notion that people will browse aimlessly if you give them an opportunity to do so, and that this action is not going to serve you in any positive way whatsoever. So then, the implication of that is that you want to be on guard for this sort of thing. You want to design your pages to drive your visitors through a very specific process. Drive them, like here, they get to see what the price is of the product. They get to see what their purchase includes. They will probably have some questions. I've got some explainers. I found out a lot of people are kind of balking at that price because there's other products they can compare to in the same market that are about the same price, and so they want to know, well, what makes this worth it over something else? So I added a video. Is focus worth it? I'm directly addressing a question I know people have once they've reached this point in the scroll. And then I've got frequently asked questions, same sort of deal. I don't have any other stuff on here that's just inviting people to browse aimlessly. And it's actually worth noting, you'll see these links at the bottom to home, website resources, and privacy policy, because I have constrained the options on this site so much so that people don't have anywhere else to go and cannot browse aimlessly. The traffic to these links has actually picked up significantly because this is the only way people can browse aimlessly on my site. So you see, people are conditioned to browse aimlessly because their entire experience of internet is stuff like New York Times, stuff like Drudge Report, stuff like these old blog styles with sidebars and a bunch of links and crap over there. So people are conditioned to browse aimlessly, and if you want to sell something or if you want to achieve specific outcomes, you have got to get in the mindset of forcing them to do what you want them to do, to not behave in that aimless manner. You want them to browse with intent. You do that by eliminating options and decluttering what people see and look through. This is an example of a very complicated display to parse. I can't scan this very easily. I've got to kind of look around at everything. This takes effort. There's nothing easy about this. This, because it requires effort, it really becomes aimless. Like, I'm looking around, maybe I see something that appeals to me. I'm just hoping something grabs my attention that I actually care about, and perhaps I will read that. But this is not good for channeling intent and focusing the user's attention at all. So anyway, now you understand this idea of browsing with intent versus aimless browsing. And when we kind of revisit the theme of this video, which is one page, one goal, that's what you want to do with your site. The goal of this page is to get people to buy the product. I explain, I address the questions that I know people are going to have. I don't give them an opportunity to leave and do aimless stuff. I keep their attention focused on what I want them to focus on. And that is the way to success. That's the path to success. And if your pages, your offers, your stuff like that is not performing, if they're not performing as well as you think they should be, this is exactly what you need to look at. You need to look at how you are enabling people to behave in a way that undermines your goals. So remember, one page, one goal. Keep your visitors focused. Avoid the situation where people are able to browse your website aimlessly because it does nothing for you. All right, see you next time.